Scott and Lauren from the Iron Will Strength Studio. We are back with part 2 of our Q&A series. We're going to try to do this on a weekly basis. If we don't, it's usually because I messed up the schedule. So I'm going to let Lauren kick us off with a fan question today, and we'll see where we take it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we have this question. I've heard it a couple of times, but someone recently brought it up about common mistakes in strength training, or really just in the gym. So the question was, in our experience, what are the most common mistakes that are made at the gym?
That's a big question, right?
Yeah.
That's a great question, actually. I think this is something that we've observed.
Yes.
Sometimes not even intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to a lecture of a physical therapist. Gave a lecture once, and he said, I've been doing this so long that I can't even look at people in the airport and not notice dysfunction, right? Because it's just what his brain is trained to do. So he'll see somebody walking by and notice that they have tight erectors or short hamstrings, and he's like, I'm not looking to analyze everybody. I just can't help it. And I find that that's what I do at the gym. I'm literally, when I go to the public gym to work out, I'm really just there to do my own thing and get out of my own head. Mm-hmm. But I can't help but kind of look around and observe things. So I've seen a lot of things over the years that I think people could, I don't want to say doing it wrong. I think if they're even exercising at all, that's good, right? Mm-hmm. But definitely there's a lot of things that people could, do better, I think, to be more effective. And then I'm sure you have some as well. If I had to narrow it down to 3, let's start by saying not supporting their training with proper nutrition, lifestyle habits is a gigantic one that we will set aside, right?
Sure.
But that's definitely maybe the biggest one.
Yes.
But actually in the gym, number 1 I'm going to say is going in without a plan. This is something that I've done. I'm sure you've done it. Mm-hmm. I think we've all done it.
Yeah.
I think it happens on the beginner level when you don't really know what to do. Mm-hmm. And then it happens at the intermediate advanced level because you think you know everything and you could just make it up and do it, right? Because you're too cool for school, you're not going to write things down, you don't have to have a plan, you just go by feel, which is also bullshit.
Bored.
Totally. Yeah. Variety, So I think, training and changing things up for the sake of variety, I hear trainers all the time saying that you'll never do the same workout with me twice, and, it's always going to be different, and that to me is the first sign that this person doesn't know what you're talking about, right? Mm-hmm. Because variety for the sake of variety, just randomness, is generally not the way to go about it.
Yeah.
There needs to be a plan in place, and you need to actually stick to it. So, one, it has to be a plan that's designed for whatever your goals are. If it's to get stronger, if it's to get bigger, if it's to get leaner, whatever the goal, there's definitely a specific way of training for that. Mm-hmm. Even if it's to the point where if it's like a kind of a bodybuilder split, and you're going to do chest and back today, you have to really write down and plan, in my experience, exactly what that workout's going to consist of. Mm-hmm. Because when you go in and think, all right, I'm just going to do legs today, or I'm just going to do back today, how the fuck do you pick what to do? You just wait to see what machine is open and jump on it. And honestly, I'm willing to bet you 50% of the time that's how people start, right? It's nobody's on a lat pull, I'll start there. Okay. Right? Yeah, nobody's in the dumbbells, I'll do rows. I've totally done it. I've totally done it. I literally just am going, all right, what am I going to do today? I've literally gone in and not even know what I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. So you might get a good pump and get a good workout, get a good sweat, but it doesn't mean that it was productive. It doesn't mean that it was an improvement from last time, right? Because the name of the game is progressive resistance training, meaning that you did more than last time in some fashion, right?
Sure.
More reps, more weight, somehow you progress. So if you're not keeping track, you don't have a plan, you can't progress, and you just kind of chase your tail.
Yes.
Similarly, we're all human, right? So if I'll just speak from experience, if I don't literally write it down, it might not be written on a piece of paper, it might be in my iPhone notes or something, but really make a clear plan. I'm going to do these 5 things, this many sets of each, and so forth. 20 minutes into it, I start to get tired. And you don't make bold decisions when you're tired, right? So if I get tired, I'm all of a sudden changing the programming. If I didn't write it down, I would choose easier exercises, less reps, less weight as I move forward because I'm getting fatigued, right? If I write it down, I'll stick with it, right? But if I make up my decisions in a state of fatigue, I'm gonna shortchange myself.
Absolutely.
You find that as well?
Oh, yes. I've definitely done it to myself where I say, I'm going to do 5 working sets of this weight, and then the third set comes and it's like, I'd rather go home.
Yeah, and you feel like you got a good workout.
Yeah.
You can justify leaving.
Right.
But if you wrote down 5, you'll stake it out for 5.
Yeah.
And if you had another, and probably another exercise or 2 to go where you would have bailed. And I
Mhm.
think that's what we find, you know, when people, I don't know, I think people sometimes conflicted with needing a trainer or a coach. And I would challenge them and say, it's not that you don't know what you're doing,
Mhm.
right? It's just that you need that, you might not know what you're doing, but you also might know what you're doing, but you need to push to do those few extra reps you don't want to do, you know, to do the extra sets you don't want to do, the exercises you don't like.
Yes.
Right? I mean, I think when you go on your own, I know I go straight for the ones that I'm good at, the ones
Yeah.
that are comfortable for me. I avoid things I don't really like,
Mhm.
and I have to really override that instinct to avoid those and do
Yeah.
the ones I'm not good at, because those are
Right.
the ones that I probably need.
Yeah.
Right? So, number 1 is not having a plan. Number 2 would be rest periods. I think this is a huge one. In the strength training arena, I see this a lot because in strength training, the goal is to get stronger, which will lead to more muscle and all the things we've talked about. But to really give a maximum effort to get stronger, you have to enter the set well rested.
Yes.
Okay? So if you do, let's just say you're using 50-pound chest press, you do your set and it's, you know, challenging for 10-ish, and that's the goal we're looking for. If you wait 30 seconds and grab the same weight and go again, you will probably get 8 when you previously got 10. If you wait 30 seconds, 45 seconds and go again, you'll be at 6, 7 reps. So that 50-pound weight will always feel heavy
Mhm.
if you only rest 30 to 45 seconds, okay? Most people rest short periods like that because they're bored
Mhm.
and they don't realize the importance of a longer rest period. And it feels weird to sit around for 3 minutes between sets, right?
Right.
But if you waited 3 minutes before you did your next set, you'd feel stronger in your second set. So those 50s might feel easy, now you go to 60s,
Mhm.
and so forth,
Yes.
right? So the goal is strength, not to just get tired. If you just want to get tired, you can grab 35s and just do a
Crank
lot of
them
reps.
out.
Yeah, wait really short rest, go again, but you'll never get stronger than the 35s, so you'll never see more muscle development and you'll never get stronger,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
Now, you know, in our program, a lot of things that we do is what we call alternating sets. So we don't want to have clients, you know, sitting around, especially when you're on your own at the gym by yourself, waiting for, you know, looking at your watch for 3 minutes and
Sure.
sitting there, right?
Yes.
Feels really lame. But you can do an opposing muscle group, which doesn't interfere and fatigue the muscle group you're working, so you can take
Mhm.
advantage of that rest time, do something else, and then come back and give your target muscle 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit, you know, maybe beyond the scope of the question, but I think that's a big one,
Yes.
is people are rushing to get the workout done, but they're not really
Mhm.
pushing themselves hard enough on each set,
Mhm.
nor resting long enough to be adequately recovered. And then finally, number 3 would be maybe following a plan, but one that's not really designed properly to get them where they want to be. So they might have a
Sure.
workout that they read in a magazine or read in a book, but they don't really understand how it fits the big picture. So they
Okay.
might be following some kind of faulty, you know, mindset stuff where it's like, I don't want to bulk up, so I'm using light weights to tone, and I've seen people curling 15-pound weights for 2 years, right? And like
Yeah.
not seeing progress because their muscles aren't being challenged enough where they need to be going heavier,
Sure.
even if the goal is to tone, right? Which we hate that word, but I understand where it comes from, but there's a lack of understanding of what muscle tone is from, right?
Yeah.
So I think that happens a lot where people are only training abs because they want a smaller waist, or
Right.
they're training light because they just want to get cut,
Mhm.
or they're training, you know, they're doing like 1,000,000 sets of bench press because they want to get stronger at bench, but
Mhm.
they're not balancing out by training back or rotator cuff stuff. So
Sure.
I think some faulty program design maybe. So that would probably be my top 3. I know you got something cooking there,
Yeah,
'cause I can
sure.
I can
Yeah.
see that you have one. So
Yeah, so
what would
like
you
your
say?
top 3 like common mistakes are totally on point. I would say that what I would see is like a very common mistake that happens with a lot of women is that we waste a lot of time, especially in the beginning of like gym life or in
Right.
gym atmosphere, is going right for the cardio or light weights or just getting stuck with like one thing. And I know that I did that for a long time, got stuck with like, I'm gonna do 30 minutes of cardio before I even touch the weights.
Right.
But then I was tired, and then
Right.
and like, but then so you're tired and you don't do as much as you think you can or want to,
Right.
and then you just go home and you do it all again, and then it's this cycle of never
Right.
getting better, and
Right.
having a flat ass too
Right.
because you're doing so much
Right.
cardio.
Right.
Yeah, so I would
and
say
yeah, most cardio machines, by the way, are pretty much quad dominant, and glutes are not engaged
Yes.
very much. Yeah.
yes. So I would say coupled
Huge.
with a lot of cardio that women get stuck on is the lack of hamstring and glute development.
Yeah.
It was a huge problem in my life because I had major back pain.
Right.
And that it was like, I said to myself one day, I'm like, I'm 20 something years old. There is no reason I should have back pain
Right.
this severe. So I really had to take a look at like what the hell I was doing.
Right.
And I mean, someone kind of had to open my eyes to say, you're not working the entire backside of your
Right.
body. Your low back, your hamstrings, your glutes, they're
Right.
all being neglected. So kind of like a faulty program.
Sure.
I had a front side program.
Exactly. Well, I think the front side program is pretty common because that's what you see,
Yeah. Mhm.
right? And it's not rewarding in the mirror to work
Yeah.
your back or your lower back, or
Right.
people think they're working their butt, but they might be squatting incorrectly or whatever.
Exactly.
Oh my God, that nails
Yes.
it. And by the way, I think also, you made me think of something. Oh, so when you do your 30 minutes of cardio, right,
Yeah.
as a newbie girl to the gym scene, which we've talked about in other videos, like the gym scene is just tough for people that are
Oh
new.
yeah.
Men, women, doesn't matter. It's just a tough scene.
Yeah.
So you're on the treadmill or whatever, doing your Stairmaster. You're thinking about, okay, when I go out there,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do those and those and those.
Mm-hmm.
And that is because that girl has a nice ass and she was just doing those, so I'm gonna do those. That girl's got nice arms, so I'm gonna do what she just did,
Yeah.
right? Nobody's over there, so I'm gonna go try that machine because I'm not embarrassed. And I'm gonna
Yeah.
do that thing like
The
this.
abductor.
Yeah, because that just looks like all the girls do it, so I
Yeah.
should probably do it, right? So that seriously is like
That was
the
me.
beginner formula.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
The exercises that I know how to do because I've seen people do them. I'm not embarrassed.
Mhm.
Like I don't feel like I'm gonna look stupid getting on that like arm curl machine because everybody's done it and it looks easy to do.
Yes.
And that one seems to be the one that all the girls do.
Yes.
And then the free weight room is where all the big dudes are. I'm definitely not going in there because that's just not a welcoming place.
No.
And I think that's what happens. But you found, ironically, that after having back pain, fast forward a few years, you're now deadlifting over 200 pounds on a regular basis
Yeah.
and no back pain.
Absolutely
Which
no back
is
pain.
Always so funny because many people are afraid to squat,
Afraid to deadlift.
and understandably so, because if you don't know how to do it right, you'll definitely hurt yourself.
Yeah, you will hook up your back.
Right. But with proper technique,
Yeah.
it actually
Totally helps.
makes the back stronger, which a lot of the pain is weakness, right? And a lack of balance between the front and back.
Yes.
And you found that. Even, and our other thing is, even at, early 20s, when you're having these back problems, you weren't overweight. And you weren't you were an active person who was at a good body weight. So it wasn't like you were super out of shape and, had a sedentary job. I mean, maybe you had a sedentary job, but you were being active.
Yep.
So even that wasn't enough. It's not enough just to fucking jog and go for a couple walks. You really need to strengthen the back
Yes.
to take care of it.
Absolutely. And the thing is like daily activities, sitting, standing, walking, biking, jogging, all that shit. There's no back development
Right.
at all. So
Right.
yeah, you really do have to like have a program that gets well-rounded front and back.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally. Well, that's great. No, I wasn't even thinking about that. But yeah, I think what we find too is, we're going to go on a tangent here, but you'll start to learn that's what we do.
Yeah.
But I think, we focus so much in this industry, in this field about the cosmetic part,
Yeah.
which is great. I think
Yeah.
that if it wasn't for that part, nobody would even start. None of us would even be in this fucking room if it wasn't for like
Right.
wanting to have a nicer body or
Yeah.
wanting to look a different way or feel a different way. But I think once you get into it a little bit, it goes beyond that. It becomes for yourself, whatever reason, whether it's looking and feeling a certain way helps you with this, but it becomes like, we need this as a stress release. We need this to feel good
Yeah.
physically. But also you find that like it just makes you feel the machine run better in so many ways. So
Yeah.
you eliminate the back pain, the knee pain, the
Mhm.
neck pain that comes with our 2016 lifestyle of sitting in the car, sitting at home, sitting on the job. We
Yeah.
have to undo that
Yes.
with exercise,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.